This format actually has a lot more interesting surprises than we thought between all of the quitting and everything that's been going on from the player base. You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on this content. Now, between all of the fatigue and all of the, I hate this game, I'm quitting posts I'm seeing every day, for the people that have stuck around, I have seen some very interesting things kind of over the past week here that I wanted to touch on here. The first one being, once I actually have the list in front of me and I get to sit down and look at the regional and everything when I get to do the breakdown, there was a Lightsworn Yubel deck. Now, process that for a second, go, huh? And then process it again and go, huh? Well, it makes sense with the theory of being able to mill the Yubels. You're just gonna, they're free contact fusions for you to be able to kind of use to, step on into. That's like, okay, I mean, hey, I milled a Yubel and, maybe a Grave Squirmer. I also milled like a Beckoning. Now I can tuck this Yubel back into the deck and reuse it. There's depending on how far and how dedicated that they were to that Lightsworn package, that's a really cool idea. And I mean, this did top a regional after all, so that does kind of open up the door to, this format, when you look at it, you see a lot of Snake Eyes this, Snake Eyes that, but I haven't seen a single soul out here sit down and go, huh, I can actually try Lightsworn cards in a competitive vacuum like this that has been deemed nearly unplayable by a lot of this player base, to actually seeing fun ideas like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you want to see out here. And you got to look beyond the scope of things. Let the innovators in the format innovate. They'll come up with some extremely, extremely cool things. Now, on that very same note here, Exodia has been making, okay, we watched Exodia kind of pop off at a couple of events. There was a little bit of hype generated for it. I had the chance to sit down and play Exodia fairly recently again. I kind of took a break and I started kind of messing around with it with the Blue Eyes in it. Blue Eyes of the Heart's a pretty good card, but a little bit further ahead of ourselves here in terms of that. I will tell you that if you want I would almost compare the deck to Zodiac, actually. Because the big Exodia sets its attack points to your life points. So you got like a Raigeki and like maybe a Lightning Storm, Dark Hole, anything to kind of clear this up, and your opponent doesn't have a formal response, you just OTK them. Because that's what the deck does. I've been seeing a few more people discussing Exodia's competitive viability post a ban list. And that's an incredibly scary thing to kind of think about right now. That you could be having Exodia sit at the dinner table for the meta as kind of like a scary boogeyman deck of sorts. And that's actually pretty cool to see. They're honestly right now, everybody just kind of looking around right now at like the little crazy innovations. Yeah, this set did bring a little bit more to the table than I think people were kind of, wanting to chew off. Now, I will also say, kind of shout out to the Kashtira department. Kashtira did really fall off. Like, it just, hi Kashtira players. You guys you're not doing too well right now. I'm going to be honest with you. But that doesn't take away the fact that players are still trying out, the Kashtira mid-range option. Like, the decks are doing, I've heard a lot of good success stories for the Kashtira department out here from, players being successful at the local. Honestly, if you want a good locals deck, I would put together Kashtira. I feel like you would have better success on that front of cleaning up those options, and you would be able to just have a easier time with that. Whitewoods, or the White Forest. If you want to talk about, okay, so like Lightsworn, Yubel, cool little innovation. Exodia players wanting to build a going second deck, that's that. But the pure amount of White Forest decks that have just been, they're over there in the back, out in the woods behind somebody's house that, the trees are shaking. And it's because I cannot tell you enough. I've seen, honestly, I think all of the versions of the deck have been the most successful. Because, like, personally, I've seen the Whitewoods Centurion build. A lot of people have been having fun with that because, you know, being able to Calamity Lock is very good. That deck is definitely a buster for locals. And then, of course, you've got the kind of dial it back, put in some of the toy box cards, be able to, you know, trigger the toy tank and the soldier, be able to get those bodies on the field so that, you know, you can use them to facilitate extra combo extensions with Roselia to set up, you know, extra late synchros. It's kind of like the same thing they're attempting to do with the Centurion stuff. If you're trying to mix all of this together, you have to remember that if you are playing all of that in the Centurion build, I feel like you're asking for a brick. And you can't really afford to dead draw all those cards. So, unfortunately, I don't like the Centurion build packed with the toy box stuff, but it's been successful. And of course, we have to give credit to the Runic build as well. That is 3 builds for Whitewoods out here that players are messing around with right now, and they're doing things in the meta. Maybe not so much on the regional level just yet. I've seen a lot of top 16s for this deck. Whew, yeah. I think, once again, this kind of comes down to once you dial back the course of the power scaling in the format here. You've also got a lot of people that were just excited to test out this engine. I didn't think it would make as much of a splash. It was very talked about by the player base. You know, of course, so was Iceberg Riddick. Oh, speaking of that, the community that told me, Robbie, Ice Barrier Runic, it's a sleeper deck in the form. Ice Barrier, it's a sleeper. Yeah, that Ice Barrier it's gonzo. Ritual Beast, most successful variation of the deck now, or out of that pack. Congratulations to the Ritual Beast players. You're still number 1, like I knew you were. Still think Noid is the second best, but you know what? A little bit to be given on that. So, what else have we really seen out here? OCG Purgatory right now. OCG is as Amina. We knew that Snake Eyes would evolve again, but when you give him an Omni Negate, yeah, what did you kind of expect to happen? I will say, Omni Negate has only got, like 1,900 attack points. So it's not like it's really that scary to deal with. The only problem is you took away all the other Omnis in the format, kind of dialed back, you know, the power scaling, and then you just kind of said, yeah, screw it. Let's go ahead and put some Omnis back on into the format for the OCG to deal with. And it's kind of diluted a little bit of the purpose of what we're doing here, but that's fine. You know, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! I expect this. You know, we go from one Omniless format to another Omni format, so you know it is what it is. I feel like at this point, but for all intents and purposes, the TCG right now, I'm waiting on our ban list. Even at the darkest points in the game's history, there's still people innovating out here. Yeah, I feel like people forgot how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that really kind of amazes me some days. There's an entire, like, subsection to this game that not everything has to be competitive. Look at all of these channels that are able to, you know, hone in to the casual enjoyer. Best Blue Eyes deck. Unstoppable first placed Blue Eyes deck profile here. You know why? It's because they're catering to that casual player base, and they're getting the chance to engage out here with this. Very important that you understand that. And, you know, like I said, while the state of the game kind of is a dumpster fire out here, but that's fine. I am very happy to see some Exodia and some of this other stuff. So, have you guys seen anything really kind of off the wall or really cool kind of showing up out here? Please do take some time. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I know we're really close to that list, but I'm liking this is interesting. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right?
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.